So what kind of law do you practice and what's your name?
My name's Steve Aronson, and I represent workers who have been exploited or discriminated against or harassed in some way at work.
Oh, so do you sometimes represent people who are being sued or suing Paul Hastings' client?
Well, Paul Hastings has a well-known and well-respected department in employment law, and there are times when my cases will cause me to be at the opposite side of a Paul Hastings lawyer.
I see. So they don't represent the underdog. They represent the powerful, the people who has money, right?
Well, they represent the employers.
Okay. Oh, then employers, big company. Okay. Okay. So are you a Jewish?
Yes.
Okay. I know there are many Jewish people practicing law. And so what is the most important value for American lawyer? Like when you become a law practitioner in this country, what are the most important things that you have to bear in mind when you are doing your job?
So I'd say there are two critical values.
Yeah.
The first is the rule of law.
Yes.
What that means is that the law is supreme. No individual, however powerful, however wealthy, has more power than anyone else. If the law says that a powerful individual or a very wealthy individual or even a government individual has done something wrong, has violated the rule of law, that person is held accountable and sometimes punished. And it doesn't matter how famous, how wealthy, how powerful, or whether or not it's a government official. If that person violates the law, then they are responsible and they have to pay the consequences. They have to face the consequences. So that means that there's something beyond just the power of government or the power of a particular political party or the power of an individual.
And there's also something beyond just the money, because eventually you are defending the justice.
Right.
The equal application of the law, no matter how powerful you are. But in communist China, no one holds the CCP accountable for the crimes against humanity. And so this is the reason why the Chinese Americans are deeply troubled by Paul Hastings, by these American lawyers who are able to get the big commercial contracts from the CCP and acting on behalf of the CCP to persecute the Chinese dissidents on the U.S. soil.
Well, you know, the rule of law protects all individuals. And in one of those protections is called due process, which means everyone gets the right to be heard, the right to have a defense, the right to state their case, and notice of what the accusations are. And that applies both to the weak and the undocumented and the new citizen, but it also applies to the strong and to the rich and to those who are citizens. So it applies to everyone. There should be no prejudice against the weak or against the strong.
Imagine this is during the World War II, and while Jews are being brutally persecuted under the Nazi regime,
right.
Do you think American lawyers should represent the Nazi dictatorship to persecute the Jews, to go after the Jews? Because this is exactly what we found that's happening right before our eyes, that some of America's top law firms are taking big money from the Chinese government to trying to silence the Chinese whistleblowers and trying to go after the Chinese dissidents.
So the short answer is, of course not. However, I would defend the right of an American law firm to represent a Nazi regime. In the sense, when I say represent, I mean they can have their day in court.
Of
they
course.
can have their right. They can be heard by a judge. Would I oppose them? With all my might.
And during the World War II, the Jews, they don't have money. I mean, they don't even have a voice. And they cannot even find a lawyer.
And many governments turned against them. Many governments turned against them. That's why 6 million were killed.
Yeah, and this is why we're trying to prevent another 6 million or 8 million Chinese people from being killed. And this is why we are here.
Well, that sounds like it's less of a legal question than a political question, meaning if people's lives are in danger.
Yeah,
right?
our lives are at danger.
How so?
In communist China, if they wear a t-shirt saying, I'm a Chinese whistleblower, they will be immediately silenced and jailed and tortured and disappeared and tortured to death. That happens every day.
Right, well then sanctions have to be brought against China.
Exactly, and America has not sanctioned those Chinese government officials.
And it seems like the Congress people and the people in government in the United States should be contacted. right? But listen, I think it's wonderful that you're bringing this to the public awareness. I do think that every lawyer has the system is designed to allow everyone, even murderers in this country, get a defense.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So the lawyers have the right to do that, but you also have the right to protest and to bring pressure and influence on them to rethink their decision.
Absolutely, and this is the reason we are here.